welcome back. So, all the regular watchers already know that we finally made our way to Plakias. And of course you might wonder why we would even come here. I mean, it's the south of Crete, it's not really a nice sailing ground. Well, it's actually quite pretty, but the wind is either a lot or not. So, not the best cruising grounds. However, we're tied up alongside anyways and trying to get our work done. So as you already know, the ultimate goal here is to try push as much as we can for an MPA, short for Marine Protected Area. And what exactly that is, I'll tell you in a second. So, an MPA basically means an area or piece of water in that case, where certain things are very much restricted or not allowed at all. Means depending on how high a grade of MPA you want, you will have anything from, well, limited fishing activities all the way up to nobody's even allowed to take his boat through there. Now, which grade you want to go for is, well, obviously depending on lots of different factors, but for either one of them you have to do a couple of things. Yeah, and one of the first things you have to do is to collect your data and actually show what is there and why it would be worth protecting this particular spot and not any other. And once you manage to do that and you have all your data together, then the really tricky part begins and you have to start kind of lobbying, because you have to convince the right people that it's a really good idea to do this. So we already did a similar thing in Myanmar, but the case of Plakias is a little bit different. So first off, this is a small town that actually has inhabitants, very much unlike Myanmar. Well, the lonely islands of Myanmar. And a good part of this town is basically powered, fueled, financed by tourism. So basically, tourists run this place. And that means you have to convince hotel owners, you have to convince dive centers, which is fairly easy, and you have to convince the fishermen, which are here not too many. There's 7 from what I understand, and they are kind of a dying species because the youngsters don't pick up their old man's profession anymore. They kind of reset the business into tourist trips, like sunset cruises, that sort of thing, which is a benefit for us already. Yeah, so that's where we're at, and now let's talk a little bit about the things that we can do to collect the necessary data and to try convince people that it's a really good idea. So right now you can see what the drone sees over here, which is a bunch of water, at this stage no seagrass, and it's taking pictures in a raster, so basically every square meter is taking a picture of 8 times while it's flying the raster, which is here, the red line. So it's just doing its passes over the bay. I know there's a lot of glare, so it's kind of difficult to see, but it's just following its path throughout this entire bay, doing 8 passes over it, and then it's coming back home, hopefully. we are finding the cost-effective solution for taking videos underwater while strolling a camera on the boat. So there's obviously the like 20,000 euro solution, which is a fancy ass drop cam, and then there's the plastic pipe that you fit a GoPro in and you pull it behind your boat. So if I was to walk into your backyard that happened to be the ocean and told you it would be really good, really smart idea and really important that your backyard is now a protected area and you're not allowed to fish there anymore, how could I possibly convince you? Any ideas? Please leave me a comment and I'll try to get back to you.